Well, that brings back memories, the old Venus song. Okay, so we're going to tie all this in now, this whole Venus worship across North America that I did in my last video. And I'm going to tie it into 9/11, Mother's Day, Super Bowl, James Bond, and show that this is all connected to this Venus worship that we're in. The thing to remember is the three gates in the sky, which is the Golden Gate, the Silver Gate, and the Lion's Gate, which I explained all in my last video with the Lion's Gate Bridge, the Silver Gate Archway in St. Louis, and the Golden Gate Bridge. And you can go back and look at that video. This explains how these have all been set up for this Venus worship with the two eclipses 7 year apart, 2017 to 2024. And then you can see here we have the three Olympics, which is Rio, Tokyo, and Paris, France, with the 2024 Jupiter alchemic symbol for that Olympics. Also, the crown, which is Nunavut, is the bird sanctuary Leopold Island. This is all part of the ritual. You can see here David Bowie's last album was showing the Venus star in different pieces, and it also looks exactly like the Space Force symbol, which is the middle part of the symbol of the USA pentagram star. So we see it broken down to pieces here, and this is really important because we start to see how it connects through to Trump. This is the alchemic symbol of Venus. It's like also for copper. This was presented at the Super Bowl on February 2nd, 2020, so the 2222. And we can see all the symbolism through the whole Maga Mother ritual here. J-Lo being Aphrodite and on the tower. Then we have Shakira being the fire with the X, which is the two eclipses. And of course, the fire turns to gold because it's your golden fleece. And here we have the children being ascended because they're free. The children are always free in this ascension process. The ascension process is basically No Time to Die, which is the 25th Bond movie coming out this spring. If you want to break through the illusion of the Matrix, you need to listen to Bobby Simpson, 7-1, and Whiteboard Gematria. These guys are brilliant, and they understand that we're in an illusion, and they tie it to the Bible. So he sent me this. It's basically the Venus-Earth ratio of 13 orbits and Earth being 8, which ends up making the 5-pointed pentagram in the sky. But the math of this, 1.625 minus phi, we all know what phi is, the Fibonacci sequence, which happens to be 358. So Venus is tied to phi and Fibonacci. And if you take the phi and you minus it from the 13/8, 1.625, you get 007. So that's how we tie James Bond into the Venus worship. Okay, so this is Venus is all like esoteric, occult, Pythagorean math, right? And this is what the ancients knew. And it also ties into the moon and the moon cycles, 99. You can read all through this. It's really interesting how all the math ties in. This is where we get, the Fibonacci and the phi, like I explained before. But it's all basically the math is from the planets, okay? It all goes back to the planets, and they built the USA worshiping Venus, okay? The whole thing, like basically the Statue of Liberty is worshiping Venus, the Twin Towers, it's all part of the whole ritual, and I explained that all in my last video, and you can go and check that out. Some of my awakening process is from things that really stuck with me when I was a child. This Rock Around the Clock, Happy Days song, I really was obsessed with. The lyrics, oh, we're dancing in the seventh heaven, the whole thing. But what's fascinating is it ties into NASA. They're very obsessed with this song as well. So it's all about the zodiac. Okay, so here we go. It was launched on March 29th, which ends up being Gematria 311, which, has to do with Ascension date. NASA used it as a celebration song. The House of Representatives actually spoke about it on March 31st, so we got 331 again, so number 33. Dancing with the Stars used it on their 7th season. John Legend performed the song on The Voice on May 21st, which is the spring equinox. So I want to make it simple on how to read the sky. I kind of started to understand the three gates are, here between Cancer and Leo. It's number 8. That's the Lion's Gate. Where the sun is, which is at the tip of the spear, that's the Golden Gate. You can't see the between the Taurus's horns. I couldn't fit it in here, but I just wanted to give you kind of an understanding of how these numbers are used. And it's all double digits, okay? That's how they use this clock. Like basically the Lion's Gate is on the 8th month on the 8th day. The 9th is 909, which is on a star called Shush Shush May, which is Shush Shush means the lion, and May is, dance. Okay, so it's like the lion dance, and May is the May Queen. It's Venus. Okay, then you have Virgo. It's on the Spices star, which is the 10th, which is the harvest. Then you have the 1111. Remembrance Day is in the balance. It's right in the balance. Then you have 1212, which is just offset of the Golden Gate, because the Golden Gate is on the winter solstice, which is 1221. Okay, so those are kind of like a mirroring there. The 1 is just on the outskirts of Sagittarius. The 2 is in Capricorn, which is basically the sea goat. It's part of the herd. Okay. Aquarius is the age of Aquarius. It's 3-3, so we get to 33, and then Pisces is 4-4, and then you can't see it here, but 5-5 is Aries. It's the crown chakra. So 55 is the crown. So that's how you get rock around the clock. So I just wanted to zoom in to show you like the 1-1 where it is, the sun, 2-2 in Capricorn. Then we have 3-3 is right on the Hodor star in Aquarius. We got the 4-4 is in Pisces. And then on the feet of Aries, that's the crown, is the 5-5. 6-6 is right between the horns. That's in the Silver Gate. So number 66 is Silver Gate. 7-7 is Gemini, Twin Towers. And then between Cancer and Leo is the Lion's Gate. And then 9-9, I said it was the Shush Shush May star. It's actually still there on the Venus conjunctions 9-11. So Shush Shush May is basically the Queen of Heaven, and they did 9-11 on the Queen of Heaven star. Okay, so Virgo is part of the Queen of Heaven. She's like the Virgin Mary. And then you have the constellation Cassiopeia is also the Queen of Heaven. But what's interesting, we have the red arrow here is the Shush Shush May star. The first blue arrow is Zabijava. That's the Ascension star. That ties into Zanaha, which is on her waist. The yellow star is the Spices star, which is, Spice Girls. It's for harvest. And then the Camellia is the heaven, the purple one. Okay, so this is why she's really important, because all the planets go right across the left side of Virgo and hit all these stars at certain dates. So here is 1111 right in the square of Libra. And then the entree right beside the heart of Scorpio is the 1212. Right by the spear, which is basically Christmas week is when it's on the spear. So I took on the task of mapping out all the Venus-Earth conjunctions since the founding of the United States. It took me hours and hours and hours. I just wanted to see how it worked. Interesting how Venus and Mercury dance around the sun. Like every second conjunction, Venus goes into retrograde, so she goes backwards. So she does this kind of like little ring and then circles back. and Mercury does the same thing, but they're always kind of dancing around the sun, and it's really a beautiful dance. And this is where most of the conjunctions happen. Okay, so on the 11th, right in Libra, it happens 15 times, which breaks down to 6. Okay, on the February 2nd, which is why they did the Super Bowl 22. It happens in Aquarius. Aquarius is super important because it's the age of Aquarius. So that's 9 times it happens. On February 25th, which comes to 225, it happens 6 times in Aquarius, which has to do with the date of the 33rd pentagram. It's in 2025. The 33rd number comes from March the 3rd. It happens 12 times in Aquarius. So now we get the 963, the secret to the universe. 322 happens on March 22nd, happens 14 times in Pisces. This is the skull and bones number. It's also the date of the 33rd pentagram, March 22nd, 2025. So all the numbers are in here. 711, it happens 28 times. It's huge. Okay, so it's on the beehive, which is the beehive cluster in Cancer. Cancer is the Khan, Khan. CER. CER is circle. It means church. Khan is basically the inn. Okay, church inn. It's the manger of Jesus. Okay, so, and you see here how 729, it actually, you times it comes to 203. 23 is the Venus number. Okay, it's 5. 9/11. On September 11th, it happens 21 times, breaks down to 3. It's the Shush Shush May star that I talked about in Virgo. 113 is the October 13th, which is on the Spices star. It happens 19 times, breaks down to 1. The 131 is October 31st, which is Halloween. We all, it's like, oh, it's about death, whatever. Some people think it's satanic. Other people love the holiday. It's because it's heaven, okay? It's the celebration of Halloween is really a celebration of ascension. It's not fearing death. It's actually celebrating your rebirth. Okay, this is what it was in ancient history. It gets all twisted around, being satanic, and it's just crazy how people don't really understand our history. They just fear it. If you don't know who Nikola Tesla was, very intelligent man. Einstein said he was the smartest man in the world, and he said the secret of the universe is 369 or 396, and I'm going to show you why. And of course, Uranus's orbit is 369. So the founding United States, 248 years to the 33rd pentagram. We see the number 322 and 33. I'm not a mathematician. I have grade 9 math. I can figure this stuff out. You don't have to be a mathematician. You just need to see patterns and understand the patterns of the numbers are repetitive, and they're basically all tied into Venus. So 248 factorization goes to 22231. The 222 Super Bowl, it's also the date of Ascension, which is the 22nd of December 2024. So this is why it's used a lot. And just for people to think that this isn't a game, it's just a game to see if you can get out of this matrix. The Combee storm god happens to tie into the age of Aquarius and Uranus. So Uranus is an important key to this whole puzzle. And for most people thinking that the athlete Combee got killed to represent this, who knows? Who knows if he's dead or not? I don't know. Everything has meaning. That's all I know. And it means the storm god, the calm before the storm, is age of Aquarius. Okay, so immortality has to do with the Pleiades, and the Pleiadian month is November 17th, actually, and it ties into the Hallows Eve, Halloween, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day, like I explained how Halloween is. It also ties in with Moses, okay, the fall equinox. Okay, so November marked the time of worship of deceased friends. So we start to see this is all really ancient knowledge that we're not taught. And it all ties into the Pleiades, which happens to be in Taurus. And that ties into Victoria Day in Canada, which ties to the Queen, Victoria. So that's the May Queen. So we're back to Venus again. See how the Pleiades ties into Venus, Virgo and Cassiopeia. It's all Venus. Okay, so all the MAGA Mother, Melania Trump, I did a whole video on her. She's all representing Venus. That video was really long. It's called The Twilight Zone. It's like 3 hours. I should have shortened it, but anyhow, it was so huge with Melania. There's so much representation of her being Venus through her history, her family name, where she was born. It just goes on and on and on. So that's why that video is so long. But if you want to really understand her part in all this, go check that Twilight Zone video out. Okay, the Pleiades. The planet of Venus was intended by Al-Tariq. Graham cited a similar Syrian Volkodina's The Night Star. Okay, so that you get the dark star, right, from David Bowie. It also has here represents a large shower of rain, which is basically from Aquarius. It's called Chow. It's also Net. Then we have the professor, 7 chambers of the Great Pyramid, believes that it's the 7 stars of the Pleiades. It also represents the New World and the destruction of the past age. So it's the coming of the New Age, okay? This is what this whole worship is about on, 007 and Super Bowl, and it just, it's everywhere. Once you see it, it's everywhere. Once you understand the symbolism of it. Basically, all the philosophers were, obsessed with the Pleiades. And here we have it. The ground was as a sewn in pieces of enamel, and the rows of Pleiades seemed to hang on the branches of trees, as though the tops of the trees were encircled by a necklace of the Pleiades. Drops of dew from the bough to bough of the cinnamon trees. Okay, so then they also have Homer in the Odyssey. No bird of air, no dove of swift wing. The bear's ambrosia to the earth or king. Shuns the dire rocks in vain. She cuts the skies. The dire rocks meet and crush her as she flies. So it's like the 2 paths. It's like they're basically explaining, you either make it through or you don't. It's also in the Iliad. So everything's about the Pleiades. And down here, the Palamel of the Pentameron. So see, now we got the Pleiades with the pentagram, basically. So the Pleiades are tied to the pentagram of Venus. So the Pleiades basically represent birds. That's why the Leopold Island in Nunavut is called the Bird Sanctuary Island. It looks like a crown. It's the crown, okay? It's like the bird. It's like your phoenix flies. They also call it here the Dark Star. It goes back there. 7 sages. It's, here's the White House doing pictures of the birds flying out of the White House. The White House photographer, William Moon, Will.I.am, Moon. It's everywhere. Here's some mythology of Aquarius, and Ganymede represents Ganymede, which happens to be a moon of Jupiter. Okay, so that's interesting. It's the nectar of the jug, Ganymedes. It's also called the water pourer Eudocorus. It's a small island. I told you the crown chakra. See the island. And then I didn't know this. The like Jersey, the EY means island. Had no idea about that. Eagle wings. That's because on the eagle path is on the left-hand side of the Golden Gate, right hand of God. The bee blossoms. Yeah, it has to do with bees. I've done that before, the MAGA Mother thing. It's all about the bees and the tree of life. And the old word gay, to rejoice. Okay, so it's all, Age of Aquarius is all about escaping this realm. Okay, so it's basically what Jesus was teaching. So it's all tied in. It's all the same story. It's not one is this and one is that. It's just people, because of the pedophilia, everybody's like traumatized of the symbols. Like it just means pedophilia. Every single symbol means pedophilia. And it's like, it's so not that. And people need to understand their history so that they can escape. Otherwise, you're still feeding the darkness because you're fearing it. And so you're still in the matrix, basically. Now we're getting to the meaning of the word you are. Okay, it has to do with your Uranus. I find it funny that Uranus is basically you are Anu's. Anu, if you don't know, is part of Anunnaki. He's the Anunnaki god, Anu. He had two sons, Enki and Enlil. One wants us to awaken, which is Enki, and the other one doesn't, which is more AI. Enlil goes to AI. But interesting enough, Dan Winters talks about here the you are, how it's used in so many words: Jerusalem, Nibiru. It's everywhere. Okay, it's also the 10 arrows, and I know Trump's crest has him clutching arrows, so that's part of one of the constellations that you pick up your arrows. It's Indus constellation, where you get your arrows to fight the dragon. Okay, at the Golden Gate. That's all the symbolism. Now, the MAGA mother represents the lion, which is why Melania Trump went to Egypt and stood in front of the phoenix, because it points to Regulus. Now, Regulus is the king star. It's also was called Gula. Okay, so the UR again is mentioned there for the one of the four horsemen, which is Regulus. Just want to make a correction. I'd written down that the Shush Shush May star was in Virgo. It's actually on the foot of Leo. Okay, this is when I blew my mind, when I started doing the conjunctions, and I started to see there was a tie-in to Mother's Day and 9/11. Okay, so I was tracking all these planets, but what's interesting is there's this massive conjunction on May 10th in 1941. I've never seen a conjunction like this. We had the Pleiades, which were in Taurus. We had Venus there, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, the UR asteroid, which is 226. 222 divided by 6 is 37. 37 is the key to everything, okay? I'm going to get to that. 2P Enki, which is Enki, okay? I told you that's the Anunnaki sun, all together, okay? In Libra, there was the moon, which is the balance. Scorpio had 5-5P Temple Tuttle. I just, because of the 5-5. Pisces, 5-5 Pandora asteroid. And Aquarius, Iota star, Mars was on. Okay, so what's crazy is 33 years before was the first Mother's Day on the same date, May 10th, okay, which ends up, the gematria goes 5, 1, and then for the Great Mother's Day was 1-5. So we got 5-1, 1-5. Yeah, divided by 23 comes to 222. We're back to 222 again. What's crazy is 60 years after this conjunction was 9/11. Okay, so this was all planned out. They knew this conjunction was worshiping the Queen of Heaven. So they put Mother's Day 33 years beforehand, and then they did the ritual of 9/11 to kind of put fear into the symbolism of the Great Mother. And you can see the gematria of 9/11 is 9/11 is 99, and then 3/11 is 33. So we get the moon and we get the 33, which happens to do with Venus being on, the sun being on Aquarius. Okay, so it's a whole ritual to the age of Aquarius, which is the return of Christ. But they kind of are putting negative energy into the whole worship of it. And of course, it was 22,040 days, which is 2024, which is when the ascension date is going to be. I've done that in my other videos. I've explained it before. It's on the 22nd of December 2024 at 999. Okay, so yeah, the whole ritual is all there, all to do with this, Mother's Day and 9/11. It's all part of the age of Aquarius and Venus. And the things that have happened in history on May 10th are all here. You can go through it. There's quite a lot of stuff. I'm not going to bother you with my reading about it all. So, but what's interesting is Rock Around the Clock went to #1 or something. It's on May 10th. Ha ha ha. I just wanted to show you the heliacal rising at the east of the Pleiades and Taurus right on May 10th. And then you see the conjunction here. You have the Ur asteroid. You have all of them here, the Ganymede. You also have the moon right in Libra. On Antares is the heart star. You have the 55P Tetley, Temple Tetley, and then Mars is in Aquarius. So it really is the biggest conjunction ever in the 248 years. I don't know if there's ever been another conjunction like that, I guess somewhere, but out of those 248 years since the founding of the United States, this is the only conjunction like that. All the other ones, it's usually just like Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter, sometimes Saturn, but never all the planets like all there and they're all on the shoulder by the Pleiades. It's like the crown chakra. It's crazy. Okay, so we just had February 2nd, the Panadome date. What's interesting is it was the 33rd day of the year and 333 days left in the year. And this number is super significant. That's why they did the Super Bowl on this number and did the whole Venus worship of the Super Bowl on this date. And also Ivanka Trump actually tweeted about it. So that made me really go, whoa, there's something huge here. Interesting, she says the last time was 909 years ago. And she also said, enjoy and may it be magical. Okay, so the magic is, being ascended, and the May is referring to the May Queen. But I did the math, and guess where the date came to is 11111. And Bobby Simpson had told me about this. It's 220 months and 22 days from 9/11 to February 2nd, 2020. Interesting. And the 11111 date to the 2222 date happens to be 332 days again, which is skull and bones. Okay, so I mapped it all out here so you can really see it. And you can see all the numbers, how it's the 322 skull and bones. But that is also the Hall-Stalt cycle of Jupiter, Venus, and Earth. That's why they get that number. It's 2302. It's 322 again. So it ties into Venus. It's not just skull and bones. Okay, so then from this 11111 date to the 33rd pentagram date, 322, which is March 22nd, 2025, there's 333 days. So now we've got our 333, we've got our 222, and we've got our 111, and it ties into this beginning of the pentagram, which happens to be 2 days after Barron Trump's 19th birthday. Edgar Casey did say there was a return of the one on his 19th year. We also see here 11 divided by 15 is 733, which we get to this number 37. The 37 ties in all the 369 to the 111, 222, and the 333. 37 times 3 is 111, 37 times 6 is 222, and 37 times 9 is 333. These all add up to 666, number of man, 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. So 37 is the key to 369. The prime numbers, okay, if you add 1 into it, 37 is the 13th prime, and the 37th prime is 157. You see what a prime is, and then you can see that they mirror each other. These primes are the important primes, okay, because there's a mirror. There's the 311, there's well, the 157 doesn't mirror, but 311 mirrors 97, and 79 mirror 73, and 37 mirror 13, and 31 mirror, and 17 being Q mirrors to 71. So these are important primes. Interesting, the square of 37 is 1369. So here we have the number 37 showing the 37th prime is 157. Here's all the 157 ships and stuff that were always called 157. I guess this has important meaning because it ties to 37. Here they're talking about how this is a really rare number because it goes into the Star of David, okay? 73 mirroring 37, super important. And it's the number of creation holograph. It's the heart of wisdom, okay? It's how you get out of the matrix. 369. The key is 37. What does 37 break down to? 1. You are the one to leave this illusion that we're in. And the real one, the one and only, you know who. And of course, what's crazy is the numerical value of I am is 37. Ah, can't believe it. The word of God in Greek, the word goes to 37. The four gospels used in the whole 37 is the whole 37 different numbers. Okay, so here we go. It goes to the Bible, and then what else do we have? New Testament, 37 verses. So the whole thing about the whole I am, this will I am, there's this the singer Will I Am, he spells it Will I Am. Then there's Baron William, Will I Am. We have Prince William, Will I Am. Who we have? Venus Williams. Well, it's Venus worship, yeah. Then we have Bill Gates, who is William Gates, which happens to be the Venus Gates, the three gates. So it's like, you just see it everywhere. Once you see it, it's like, you're just like, it's everywhere. Okay, the temperature of the human body is 37 degrees centigrade. Here we're also showing the, the 111222 and the 2333. 999 is 27 times 37. So, yeah, that's 9, right? 7 and 2 is 9 plus 1. 7 and 3 is 1. So, yeah, then that comes to 999. I know, yeah, that's the end. They all add up, but I also added up all the primes. I think to 13 or something, and they all add to 999. So it's all coded, right? So here's the calendar duration of 333 days from 111 to 322. But it also has the 396 in there. And this kind of freaked me out when I was like the 1st of January of this year to 322-2225. It happens to be 1908 days, which is the date of the first Mother's Day. And then it's 5 years, 2 months, and 22 days. So 5 and the 222, 5 being Venus. For V is the Roman numeral, but also the 5 points to the star. So, and then we have, or 62 months and 22 days. So then you get 6222, which basically goes out to your DNA, right? 5 and 6 goes to DNA. So, yeah, the whole mother ritual is all to our DNA, 5 and 6, which is the 5 pentagram star and the 6 Star of David. So, yeah, it's all there in the dates, which is, it's not just somebody saying it, it's in the dates, to all the events that have happened. So here is the 322, March 22nd, 2025 conjunction, which is in Pisces, but the moon is at the tip of the spear. And I can't believe this because I drew a picture when I was 15 about the moon having a dagger through it. I, had no idea why, because I wasn't a dark person. Here's the conjunction, and then you have the Enki on the Aquarius on the whole door star. The whole door is like the water, it's the hydrogen. But what's crazy is, I don't know if you watched the Game of Thrones, and the guy was going, hold door, and it's basically that star. That's what they're talking about. They're saying, oh, it means hold the door, but no, it's that star because that's the important star in Aquarius. And of course, the conjunction is right on the tip of the sea monster Sita's tail, which is the Aquaman kind of thing. And then, but it's also on the back of Pegasus, which is, Jesus. He's coming on the white horse, Pegasus. And that was also in the Game of Thrones with Arya, which is Aryan, is, she was in the ashes because there's going to be volcanic ash, basalt, and she's in the ashes, and she comes out of the city where it's all, King's Landing's all being bombed, and then the white horse shows up for her. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so perfect. So the Aryan race is the ascended race. It's the higher consciousness race. And here's the whole door star, and you can see that it's there in Aquarius. So the No Time to Die was actually, they were going to call it Bond 25, and they were also going to call it Shatterhand. And I was like, Shatterhand, where does that come in? But then there's this crooked claw in Virgo, which is in the heaven star, Shabella. So there is, the symbolism. Okay, so the No Time to Die release date in London is the 31st of March, which is 331 on the 2020th. Okay, so the 2-2. But globally, it's on the second of the fourth month, which we get the 24 for the year 2024, and the 2020 correlates to the 22nd day, the day after the winter solstice in December in 2024, Ascension Day, the long night. And the long winter, I believe, is between the winter solstice and the spring of 2025 on March 22. It's to 90 days, and I think that's going to be the final battle. Most likely because the harvested souls will be like walking zombies, walking dead, and the ascended souls will be kind of like fighting them off because they'll want us to join them. And then there's the return of Jesus symbolism in the spring on the 33rd pentagram of Venus. That's the way I see it. Doesn't mean it's right, but that seems like how all the theme is going through all our modern pop culture and and the dates. So I was digging around. I knew that they would have some ancient mythos somewhere talking about James Bond. So it happens to be with his car. It's the V car, number 5, Venus, and also the Valkyrie theme, which happens to do with Old Norse mythos. Okay, so it has to do with Phrygia. She's like the queen of heaven. She's basically Phrygia is there's a bipolar to the queen of heaven. Okay, she's also Heli, which is Helika, which is hell. There's this. That's why with J Lo and Shakira, there's the two twins of it. So it depends on which path you go, or which path you end up going to. You get frozen, the movie Frozen, or you become the phoenix flying out of the ashes. So that mythos goes to the periodic table number 23. You can see here that Frisia, a Scandinavian goddess, Vanadis, okay, but it's also Vanadium, okay, so yeah, it's number 23. Number 23, 5, day of pain, day of bread. Bread, actually, day of pain means day of bread because pain in French is bread, which is the harvest, okay, so the harvest happens on between the 23rd and 24th. Ascension is on the 22nd. Here is Kushner with his head in the M, which is the M is the constellation Cassiopeia. It's an M or a W. It's explaining it here. And it's the time because we're running out of time. Cassiopeia is like in a chair. In some of the mythos, she's tied to the chair and she has a mirror. You know the Hallelujah song, tied you to the kitchen chair and then cut your hair. Well, there's another constellation that has a clump of hair. So yeah, it's all in the sky. So here's a question being asked where the sun is in the constellations, and they're saying Cassiopeia. So somebody asked a question, what constellation is Earth in? And then they're saying here, it depends on where you're looking from. The nearest star, not counting the sun, would be Cassiopeia. That's the M constellation. Looks like the mountains, right? And the constellation, yeah, so they're basically saying Earth would be in Cassiopeia. So yeah, it's all there, guys. Venus is our twin planet. So the White House photographer William Moon, I mentioned the eagle path of Altair, left of the Golden Gate, being peace, and he liked it. He's always liking some of my tweets. So yeah, I know that he's confirming my dates. just in case you haven't seen any of my other videos, this is the Golden Gate. The purple path is, you get your arrows down in this Indus bag of arrows. You go, you get your shield, which is scutum. You go to the Golden Gate, you fight the dragon. You win, you fly off like the eagle with the pin in your mouth. There's the fox, Volscupia. He usually has a golden goose in his mouth with the golden egg. You go and you get the harp is singing in Lyra. You go into Cygnus, and Cygnus X1 is a black hole, and then you escape. Okay, so the other way is you go to the Golden Gate, you get judged, because you get judged by Thoth, okay? Mercury, he weighs your heart against a feather. And if you don't pass, you get bit by the scorpion tail. You turn into a mad dog. Centaur shoots you. You go and see the little cross here at the back of his, which is the Southern Cross. It's the crux, which is the fake cross. You think you're going to heaven, but you're not. You go through the keyhole. I think it's called the running chicken constellation there or something. You go down into the canopy magnetic star, which is at the bottom of the ship. You go up onto the Pupus deck. There's the pot of honey that they take from you. Above it is the Antilla, which is the ant movie, which is the pump, which sucks you up there. Then we have Virgo there and the lion. Yep, and then you go to Sirius. Sirius is pulling the ship. He's basically, they say he's the dog star, but it's the white wolf in old mythos. Yeah, so then you end up coming out of the ship, Sirius. You get judged by God's hammer in Orion. Then you go through the silver gate of the horns of Taurus. And then you see the Medusa. You basically get turned to stone. If you are a good person, you go to Cambella, which is above the constellation, and you become a little sheep again, a little lamb. You come back in through the silver gate. You go down the rabbit hole, the rabbit's there. You go down the rabbit hole, Eridanus River, and then you get the clock because you're the rabbit chasing the clock like in Alice in Wonderland. Then you come out and you become the sculptured stone head, and your little phoenix flies away, and you join AI. Okay, you become a zombie while everybody else is in the age of Aquarius and having a great time, and you are the zombie in the Smart Cities AI. That's the whole story. Okay, so it's all written in the sky, Alice in Wonderland. And the reason that these numbers are so important, 1 divided by 15 is 666, 111 is 999. So we get our 911. And here's the dates, all the gematria of the dates, and the time that the moon is in the exact spot on the ascension star Zavijava on 999 on the 22nd of December in 2024, and then 2 days later, it's on the 24th, it's at 2 o'clock 222, it's on the harvest star. So as above, so below. Venus is mirroring down over North America. There's a whole ritual going on for the X event. It's a double X event. Yeah, it's just a matter of understanding how this is all through our culture. It's all through our ancient religions. It's all through ancient mythos. And it's just fun to watch it now. So I'm done kind of putting it all together, like the numbers, and this is taking me hours. I'm done with this. What I'm going to do is start to focus on the health of your body and what you need to do to really be in the best preparation for this event, because it's not like just simple like, okay, I'm just going to do it. To be able to go through this, I think, is like the epitome of your purpose as a soul. So it's going to take a lot of preparation. We have like 4.5 years, so lots of health aspects to it, and I will get into that, and I think that's where a lot of people really want to know and go forward. Get out of the hate paradigm, whether you're in the Q movement and you're really waiting for this all to be resolved, or if you're just asleep and you don't have any attachment to it at all. Either way, you're not focusing on yourself. Okay, and the whole purpose of this is to go inward, to understand yourself, to understand what you're projecting out. If you're like terrified of all the evil, yes, it's good to expose it, but a lot of people aren't attached to that and don't want to know anything about it. And I respect that. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It means that they just don't have that attachment to the evil. And so they're going through the whole process in a different way, but doesn't mean that they're right, and doesn't mean if you know about the evil that you're right. It's just that you have to understand the balancing of the two energies. Okay, so this is all about having love in your heart, and only love and only bliss and only happiness. That's the only way your soul wins. So we'll move forward, and we'll go through this journey together, as we have been going through all the anons and all these awesome YouTubers that have helped bring this path together for me. And hopefully I've made it clear enough so that you understand how it's all being played out. Goddess on the mountain top.